What's going on, guys? Today I got another video for you. You've seen the title, you know what it is. I have the Ruike. Again, just like every other YouTuber who's talked about this knife, I do not know how to pronounce it. I think they call it Rake, but I think it's, as Nick Shabazz says, there's no way I can look at that and pronounce it Rake. So, but I'll call it Rake for the video. This the box knife comes in, decent enough box. As you can see, just like every box like this, I can never open them without tearing the box up. And you see right there, it says Phoenix Light Limited. As many of you may or may not know, this knife, Phoenix Lights, the company that makes this is actually a subsidiary, I guess you would say. I'm not sure. It's made by Phoenix Lights, and they do make quality stuff. I've actually got a Phoenix light that I've had for probably 7 years now. Pretty good light. I just thought it was funny. As you can see on the back of the box there, the address 8/F, 2nd Building, Dongfang Ming Industrial Center, 33rd District, Boan, Shenzhen, 518133, China. I just got a kick out of that. Imagine having to write that on every envelope and piece of paper you put in the mail. Obviously, I've tore the box up. The knife's no longer in the box. The knife is right here, and this is it. This is the Ruike P801. Very budget-friendly EDC knife. I got this one off Amazon. It was $29.95, which, foreshadowing, is an amazing value in my opinion for this knife. This is the silver one. I think that's what they call it on the website for the color of the knife. They just call it silver. It's just all stainless steel. There is another version. I don't know for sure what I think they just call it black. It is a black blade and then a black or dark stone washed handle. It's a little bit more on Amazon. I think it's $32, just a couple dollars more. Anyway, got this one on Amazon. Overall, open, as you see here, it is 7.87 inches. Now, all these specs I'm giving you for this video are directly from Ruike's website. I haven't measured it myself. I haven't had this knife very long. I just got this knife. Came in the mail three or 4 days ago, something like that. I've had it long enough to use it a little bit, but I didn't want to get too in depth taking my own measurements. So every statistic I'll tell you about this knife in this video will be directly from Ruike's website. So take that with a grain of salt. Overall length open 7.87 inches. The blade is 3.46 inches. So I'll just call it 3.5 inches overall. Decent, good overall blade length for me, EDC wise. Closed, the knife is 4.49 inches. So 4.5 inches overall closed. And it's a slim knife. As far as height, top to bottom this way, and the overall size, it's pretty slim and it fits pretty good in the pocket. I don't have a statistic on the width. I didn't see one. If I just had to guess, I'm trying to get a good look at it. I would say it's a little bit under 1/2 inch. I would guess just a hair under 1/2 inch. So pretty thin, pretty compact, pretty sleek. It rides good in the pocket. And overall, this knife weighs 4.23 ounces. So I was 4.25 ounces. And for this size of knife, and especially in materials, I think that's pretty decent weight. I know some people have kind of like a 4 ounce, limit, rule, line. They try to keep everything under 4 ounces. Again, my other videos, if you've seen any of them, I don't really go by that. I don't mind carrying a heavy knife. I kind of prefer to carry a heavy knife sometimes. So obviously 4.25 ounces is fine with me. As I said, the blade overall is 3.5 inches. Stone washed. The stone wash looks pretty good. You can see it. It is slightly reflective. It's pretty I don't want to say polished, but it's a pretty reflective stone wash. Some companies can do a really, really hard stone wash. It almost makes the knife almost a matte finish. This is the complete opposite of that. It is stone wash, but still pretty reflective. The blade, as you can see right here, 14C28N. I will be honest with you, this is the first knife that I've owned with 14C28N. I know many other knives that do have them. I know Kershaw uses it a lot, and some of their more, you know, budget to mid-range knives. I'm not a real big Kershaw knife guy. Don't have anything against Kershaw. I just haven't always been the biggest Kershaw fan. So I've never used it. This will be the first time. So I don't want to tell you a bunch of information about 14C28N because I don't really know. And like I said, I've only had the knife for 3 or 4 days now. I haven't really used it enough to get an idea of how this steel is going to hold up. As it came from the factory, it is sharp. Not the sharpest in the world. It will shave. Mine will shave. It was a decent edge from the factory. I'm not going to mess with it. I'll just use it like this until it does need sharpening. Then I'll resharpen it myself. The blade is full flat ground all the way from the top, as you can see. There's no swedge, no nothing. It's full flat ground all the way from the top of the blade. Drop point, I mean, that's just kind of a standard. I would say if just overall in the knife community, drop point is probably your most ubiquitous, you know, kind of overall jack of all trades blade shape. I'm fine with that. Good drop point to do 99% of tasks you need it to do. The jimping, I don't know if it'll pick it up good. It's good. It's not super deep, but the edges of the jimping, they are chamfered, they are kind of rounded, but not very much. You can still, I don't know if you can hear it. It will bite into your thumb. Good jimping overall. The handle, stainless steel frame lock. Sorry, try to keep you in view here. Stainless steel frame lock. How do I feel about that? It's fine with me. I've got aluminum frame locks. I've got titanium frame locks. I don't mind the stainless frame lock, especially at the, you know, price point this knife is at, 30 bucks. Not going to complain about it. Lockup is, may not be able to tell super great on video. It's right at about 50%, 45, 50% on mine. That was one thing that I do want to mention about this knife. I know many other YouTubers have done a review on this knife already, and some of them have mentioned that from what they have heard and what they have seen, there's some hit or miss quality issues with these. This is a sample size of one. This is the only one I have, and I'm not going to buy another one just for the sake of trying to get a lemon. I haven't found any issues with mine. Lockup's good. There's no blade play. It is, and I've flipped this knife a fair amount of times since I've had it. Blade centering's dead on. I said no blade play, up, down, left, right. It's sharp. There's no frame stick, or no lock stick, which don't ask me. Anytime I get a frame lock knife, I've always had issues with lock stick. It's I don't know. I've just never had good luck with it. This one, no lock stick. As you can see on the lock right there, a little bit of jimping right there, just give you a little bit extra purchase. As you can see, as it sits flat, it does stick down just low enough. It's no issue getting your finger in there and hitting the lock bar. The handle is also stone washed, same as the blade. It's a matching set. Everything goes together. And as you can see in the video, there are fingerprints all over this knife. I'm sorry about that. I have to wipe that off. That's going to kill my OCD. That is one thing, this knife being all stainless steel handle blade, it picks up fingerprints very badly. And I beat on my knives, and I don't really take good care of my knives, so you wouldn't think that would bother me, but that kills my OCD, picking up a lot of fingerprints. Not 100% sure. Well, I should say this first. Another detraction of the handle, just as it comes like this, it's slick. And that's not, you know, like a mistake on their part necessarily. It's just due to the design of the knife, it's going to be slick. It's going to be a slick handle. The ergonomics are good. Your finger sits up in it good. You got good jimping. It fits in the hand real nice. The ergonomics overall are really good, so I don't see myself, you know, like struggling to hold on to this knife. It's just something to note that it is going to be slick. What I was going to say, in the future, I may actually go back and hit that and take this knife apart, you know, wait till one day when I decide to take it apart, clean it, play with it, mess with it, look at the internals one day eventually, maybe. I may sand these handles a little bit, not heavy, sand them just enough to give it a little bit of texture, almost like titanium. If you have a titanium handle knife, titanium just as it comes is slightly more textured. Just the material itself lends itself. It's just slightly more textured than stainless steel. Something to that effect. I'll hit it with some sandpaper. I'm not sure yet. I may not, because it is a good looking knife, and if I do that, the blade and the handle are going to be they're going to look completely different. But I may do that. I'm sorry, my throat's been messed up. And if you hear a bunch of background noise in this video, I'm sorry. The wind, it is super windy today. I don't know what it is. I haven't pulled up, but the wind is howling today. And it's hitting, I'm feeling right in the corner of my house, and right where the wind crests around the side of my house, and it just catches all the wind noise. So I'm sorry about that if you can hear it. As you can see throughout the knife, the thumb stud, the pivot collar, and the pocket clip are all blue. I'm not exactly sure what this is. I don't know if it's anodizing, if it's a heat treat type process. I do notice the thumb stud, the coloring on it is more of a matte finish, whereas around the pivot collar and the pocket clip, it is much shinier. Just an observation, doesn't really make a difference to me. You don't really notice it unless you're looking for it. Not sure what that finish is. Doesn't matter to me. It looks fine. Everything wears over time, so if that eventually fades and gets discolored, really no big deal. And also, as you can see, it is full pillar construction. You have the main pivot up here, and then you have two pillars in the back. Makes for a really clean design, really easy to clean out design. And the pillars are very robust. That was another thing I noticed. I don't see any you having any structural issues with this knife with those pillars in it. The pocket clip itself, it is a deep carry clip. As you can see, this knife will fully disappear in your pocket. It kind of annoys me. This is just an observation. And again, it's something that it's not really that big of a deal. If you can see, the pocket clip is mounted flush with the scale. They actually, if I can get it in frame, right here at the end, they actually milled the scale down to where the pocket clip will sit flush with the scale, but then they put rounded screws on. If you're going to go to that effort, why not go ahead and put flathead screws, you know, to make the whole thing flush? Why put rounded screws if you're going to go through the effort to mill the scale down to where the pocket clip sits flush? Put flush mounting screws. Don't use rounded screws. It kind of defeats the purpose. Just a little nag for me. I just don't. And of course, I know the price point of this knife. I know you're just adding steps to it, which is going to make it a more expensive knife. So it is what it is. Just an observation. Overall, it looks good. Just my overall thoughts on the knife. It's a good knife. For $30, there's really nothing I can criticize about this knife. Like I said, honestly, the only thing on this knife that bothers me are those screws right there. That's it. That's really the only negative thing I can say. I have noticed just in the few times I've carried it, it will ride flush all the way down your pocket, and those screws have not gotten in my way of carrying this knife at all. It doesn't make it to where it won't go all the way down. It will go all the way down, but because of this clip and the smooth stainless scales, it does kind of wiggle around in my pocket just a little bit. I have noticed that if I'm carrying this knife and, you know, it's sitting flush, my pants pocket's up here flush, sometimes it'll slide up to here, then slide down, then slide up, and it'll kind of shift around. You know, my pocket's right here, it'll kind of tilt and this and that. It's not because the clip isn't any good. The clip is actually really, I can't get the clip up. The clip is really strong. It's just because it's so smooth. Again, if I do sand this knife down one day, just to kind of give it some texture, I think that problem may just work itself out. But it's just an observation. You have a lanyard hole back here for all you weirdos that like to use lanyards. Y'all know my feelings on it. And some people have, in other videos I've watched, have talked about the print on this knife. As you can see, on the show side, it just says Ruike. I'm sorry, again. On this side, it says 14C28N right down there. And up here, as you can see, it has what I'm assuming is their logo. And I say assuming because, let me set that down, get the box back. Nowhere on this box do I see that logo anywhere. Not on the front, back, top, sides. I don't see that logo anywhere on the box. So I'm assuming that is their logo, which is fine. I actually think I think it looks decent. It's simple, yet kind of elegant the same way. As you can see, it's got the model on there, P801-SF. And I think the -SF is silver. I'm not 100% sure on that. But I don't know why they would have to put a sub model on there if it wasn't in reference to the colors. Like I said, they have a black one as well. And then it's got the long string of numbers that everybody complains about. Mine is WB5EZY00111. Those are all unique numbers from all the other YouTube videos I watched where they showed or read that number off on their knife. They have all been different as far as I can see. So I'm assuming these are serialized. I'm not sure. I don't think that really holds any weight on this knife for what this knife actually is. But just a little note, it really doesn't bother me that much that it's there. I'm not sure how well that is on there. That may come off with wear. I'm not sure. Doesn't really matter to me. It's just an observation. But overall, $30, this is a great knife. Again, I haven't hard used it yet. I've carried it some. I haven't just thrashed on it though. So we'll see. If I start using this knife and then a bunch of gremlins start coming up and I see that's kind of coming in line with some of the other negative reviews I've seen, I may do an update video and let you know. Just depends. But as far as right now, this is a good knife. The action is really good on it. That was another thing that surprised me. The action on this knife is really good. As you can see, it's got a flipper, which works just fine. I've never had a misfire with it using the flipper. But I kind of prefer the thumb stud on this knife. And when I use the thumb stud, the knife has a really good detent. My knife has a really good detent. That was one of the criticisms I've heard, is that some of these had a weak detent. Mine does not. My detent is perfect. But when I use the thumb stud, I mean, this thing comes out like a rocket ship. It flies out, and it has a very satisfying sound too, if you can hear that. It's a very metal on metal, which of course I know that's exactly what it is, but it's a very industrial sound, and I just like that. It makes it on opening and on close. Open up just a little bit. It makes a good sound. And as you can see from me doing that, the first time I was actually pressing on the frame lock, so it didn't do it as well. This knife it's not drop shut. The blade itself isn't really heavy enough to be drop shut. but it will do it pretty easily. You can wiggle the knife shut, no problem. It's just, I mean, for $30, this is one of the better actions I've ever had on a knife. But I just kind of want to give y'all my overall thoughts on these. I would recommend you go get one. Even if you don't need another knife, if you're not looking for another knife, if you like the design, the aesthetic of this knife at all, just for sake of having one, I would go get one. I mean, $30, you're not really out a whole lot of money. Now, I know money is subjective. $30 may be nothing to some people and maybe a lot to other people. But $30 isn't a whole lot of money, especially in the knife world. You can spend much more, and from my experience, you can spend much more and get much less quality-wise. I've had knives that cost a good bit more than this knife that didn't have the quality that this knife does. So I'd recommend you pick one up. And again, if you did like I did and get it from somewhere like Amazon, if you order it and then decide you don't like it or there's something wrong with it, return it. That's why I like Amazon so much. They basically have a no questions return policy. You know, everything has limitations. But if I got this knife and, you know, it was way off center, which I really don't care about, or it was just really messed up and had a bunch of blade wobble, you know, had a bunch of movement, or if it had really bad lock stick, I just send it back, you know. If you want to get another one, get another one. Again, this comes in silver and black. I don't have any experience with the black one. I'm assuming everything would be just as good. But yeah, I just want to give y'all my thoughts on this knife. Again, this is the Ruike, whatever. Ruike P801. And real quick, I guess I should do this. Y'all give me 1 second, real quick. I'm gonna go find you a, what do I got on me? Oh, there's one, and there's one over there. Okay. All right, I'm back. Real quick, before I let y'all go, I'll give y'all a little bit of a size comparison. Here's another one everybody knows, the Civivi Elementum. This is just the standard Civivi Elementum, green micarta D2 blade. If I line them up butt to butt, as you can see, the Ruike is probably about 1 inch, 3/4 of an inch overall longer. And then, get that one out of the way. Here's another one, and I think this one's an interesting comparison just because I actually consider these knives kind of to be direct competitors. This is the SOG Tenacious. I'm so sorry. It's been a long day. Spyderco Tenacious. And again, this is more expensive than this is, but quality-wise, these two are about even. And this has kind of been my go-to knife for a long time, just for a cheap beater budget EDC knife. If within the near future this knife doesn't just fall apart or has some catastrophic failure, this may give it a run for its money, if I'm being completely honest. I may make a comparison video between these. May not, just depends. But just for size comparison, line them up butt to butt. As you can see, these are almost the same. I would say the Ruike, I don't know if I have anything that's a flat surface. What do I have on me? Anything, maybe? I have a Sharpie. If I put the Sharpie on the very tip, I'm doing this from my perspective, not y'all's. Overall length, I would say the Ruike is about an 1/8 inch longer overall. It may not look like that on camera, but from my perspective, the way I'm looking at it, about an 1/8, maybe a 3/16 longer. That's just your size comparison for you. Get that out of the way. But yeah, I highly recommend y'all pick one of these up. Overall, it's been a great knife. Like I said, I'll continue to carry it. It has worked its way into my EDC rotation because this is the knife that, it's so cheap, I can beat on it and thrash on it. And if it takes it, well, that's great because I'm getting really good use out of a $30 knife. But again, at the same time, if it just completely falls apart, you know, warranty work notwithstanding. And I think on the box, let me double check myself. It may not. I thought I read somewhere that the knife has like a lifetime warranty or something like that. I may have been making that up. But if the knife falls apart tomorrow and warranty doesn't cover it, I'm only out $30. You know, you can throw it away and get you another one, and you don't have to worry about it. But anyway, just wanted to show y'all this one, guys. Really liking it so far. Let me know your thoughts on it. If you like the video, again, hit that sub button if you want to see some more videos. If you like what you're seeing. Constructive criticism. Again, I'm new to the YouTube game. I just like knives. I like talking about knives. And I'm really getting back into it. So anyway, see you next time, guys. Take it easy.